Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Wednesday, January 25th open session of the North Andover Select Board. Tonight will be remote. This meeting of the North Andover Select Board will be conducted via remote participation. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website at www.northandovermass.ma.gov. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch the meeting may do so on their television by tuning to Comcast Channel 8 or Verizon Channel 26 or online at www.northandovercam.org. To submit public comment or participate in the meeting remotely, please email selectmen@northandoverma.gov. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. And in attendance is Rosemary Smedili, Dick Ballancourt, Laura Bates, and myself, Janice Phillips. Can we begin with public comment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we did allow members of the public to send emails with public comments, and we did receive 2. I will read those aloud. The first one is from Melissa Rivers. Dear Select Board members Medili and all members of the Select Board, we received this at 4:27 p.m. We are writing with respect to the request of the trustees of the Stephen Coolidge Place to further expand its entertainment license. We respectfully object to further expansion of the license. Each year, the event programming has been expanded at the SCP. As neighbors, we have watched, quite literally out of our windows, the volume of people visiting the property increase. Despite the promises of the trustees, we have continued to deal with traffic of both patrons and vendors traveling up and down Wood Lane, noise from the events, and the eyesores of the parking lot. We are yet again seeking to expand the programming. We continue to object to the license in its entirety. It is not keeping with an educational facility. With respect to the specific editions of this license, car shows come with lots of noise from the cars before, during, and after the event, as well as air pollution from engines running. Movie nights will need to occur at night and usually start at 8 p.m. or later, lasting several hours. This will bring people to the estate later into the evening and cause noise and disruption from the light of the movie screen. I do note the license says no change for the hours of operation. What will these hours be? They should clearly remain as 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday and 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday. The license does not limit the number of events that can occur, and this continues to be concerning, particularly since the events at SCP continue to expand. When will this end? We have tried to be accommodating, and we have lived with the disruption, but please do not allow the trustees to further disrupt our neighborhood by growing their business. Please do not approve this license. Michael and Melissa Rivers. The next letter was received by Susan. Her last name is spelled Bohenko. We received this on Wednesday, January 25th at 5:24 p.m. Good evening. We understand the Stephen Coolidge Place is planning on requesting an expansion. Like several of our neighbors, we are not in favor of this proposal. The entire project has been a disappointment to all of us, and the overall facility has, in our opinion, failed to live up to its original promises. To encourage further development would be foolish on our part, as they already lack the ability to maintain the integrity and beauty of the current property. Thank you, Susan and Joe, for Wood Lane. And those are the 2 public comments. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Town Manager Rodriguez. Okay, let's move into licensing. Can I get a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll move that we move into the licensing commission.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Richard Valancourt, yes.
Laura Bates, yes.
Go ahead.
Laura Bates, yes.
Rosemary Smedili, aye.
And Janice Phillips, aye. We're in licensing.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Rosemary Smedili here, Chairman of Licensing. So I'd like to begin the meeting with an application from Araya Liquids, Inc., DBA Main Street Liquors, for transfer of all alcohol off-premise liquor license. With that, I would take a motion to move into a public hearing.
Madam Chair, I'll move we move into a public hearing to hear the request of, hold on. The name of it is Ira Liquors, Inc.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Richard Valencourt, yes.
Laura Bates, yes.
Janice Phillips, yes.
And Rosemary Smedili, yes. We are now in the public hearing. So I believe we are, we have the attorney for the applicant is,
If it please the board,
yes, thank
my
you.
name,
Attorney Perlman, yes, thank you.
correct. Hi. Yeah, my name is Arthur Perlman. I represent Aria Liquors, Inc., DBA Main Street Liquors. It is seeking a transfer of the package store all alcohol license currently held by 64 Main Street Liquors LLC for the premise at 64 Main Street in North Andover. I have submitted, the other day I emailed it, an affidavit and exhibits relative to published notice. Mailed notice to abutters is not required. Aria Liquors is a Massachusetts corporation. Jigar Patel, Hardik Patel, and Hedelbun Patel are the officers, directors, and shareholders of that corporation. Jigar Patel is currently living at 23 Dunnier Lane in Northborough, Massachusetts, and is the president and a director. Hardik Patel is currently living at 34 Milford Street in Medway, Massachusetts, and is the treasurer, secretary, and a director. And Hedelbun Patel is currently living at 4 Ponderosa Drive in Hudson, New Hampshire, and is a director. Hardik Patel has owned and managed businesses located in Millis and Medway, Massachusetts, which have liquor licenses. And Jigar Patel has trained in the business located at Millis that has a liquor license for the past 4 years. Jigar Patel will be the manager on the license and will be spending at least 40 hours per week at this business. The business to be operated at 64 Main Street in North Andover will be open 7 days a week. The hours will be 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and Sunday will be 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. The layout of the store will be as per the floor plan that I submitted with the application. The owners are familiar with the laws relative to the sale of alcohol. Additionally, both Jigar Patel and Hardik Patel have already completed the TIPS program and have their certification. Hedelbun Patel will be completing the TIPS training in the near future. The owners will not only uphold the statutory law, but will familiarize themselves with any rules or regulations specific to the town of Andover regarding the sale of alcohol. I would respectfully request that this board approve the transfer of the license to Aria Liquors, Inc. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Perlman. Do we have any questions from the board on this? I know it's been something of a long and protracted application process. Not the application necessarily, but getting us to this point. And we've had a few setbacks with COVID and things like that that made it a little bit more timely, taking longer, and a few other things. But so we're here with the present owner who is interested in having the license transferred to Attorney Perlman's client. Are there any questions from the board or?
Yeah, just first a comment, Attorney Perlman, make sure they familiarize themselves with the rules of North Andover. We don't really care much about Andover.
Oh, did I say Andover?
Yeah,
I
but that's
apologize.
okay. We won't hold that against you too much. Or maybe we will, I don't know.
Maybe just a little bit.
Just joking with you, sorry. But yes, so what would be, so as Selectwoman Smedili had stated, this has been a long, protracted project where we have seen absolutely, in my opinion, no work done at that building for a couple of years now. So what's the plan? And what's the planned opening date? When will we expect to see that business come back to life?
Okay, I would be guessing, but we do have a contract, and the landlord is supposed to have completed his portion of the build out by the end of this month.
Okay.
At that point, we can start to do our portion of the build out, which is to, equip it and inventory it. I'm not sure right now how much delay there is in getting product. There has been some delays in getting all the equipment you need, but my people, the clients are on that, and are going to get that as quickly as possible. We want to open as quickly as possible. If I were to say that it's going to take probably 6 to 8 weeks minimum for the ABCC to approve this. If you approve it tonight and send it to them, it'll take them about 8 weeks. I'm hopeful that by the time we get that back, we will be within weeks of opening. But again, I don't know the supply chain and how quickly it's going to get it. These people are anxious to get it going. So you don't have people now that are just sitting there waiting to find another buyer. I guess that's where you've been for a while, is you've had someone holding the license trying to get a buyer. They have the buyer. These people want to open the business. So all I can tell you, it's going to be as quickly as possible. If I were to guess, I would hope to say that within a month after the ABC's approval. So you're talking about 8 weeks, and then maybe 4 weeks to get it built out, our portion of it. They're giving us a box. They're giving us a vanilla box. Now we have to build it out. And that's going to start now, because once you approve it, the ABC is almost never going to not approve it if you've approved it, other than if my people somehow are bad, which they're not. Money, it can't be proven as to where the money's coming from, which we can. So I would have my people start looking to build it out now. If you were to approve it tonight, I would tell my people to start, order everything, get it going, and start building it out as quickly as you can, because the ABC is not going to be the problem. So that's, otherwise I'm telling you a story. If I give
Okay,
you.
no, I appreciate that. I get it. No, I appreciate it. Thank you. So it's the plan is within the next 3 to 4 months to be open.
Yes. Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right.
Did I tell you how to build a watch when you asked me what time it was?
No, that's fine. It just gave us a good idea of what everyone is facing in front of them. No, I don't have any further questions. Well, yeah, I guess the experience level, I heard in your introduction, Attorney Perlman, that a couple members of the team have experience running other package stores, other liquor stores.
Yes, 2 of them do.
2 of them, okay. And I think the chair will say that we are a college town. We expect a certain level of scrutiny when people come in, and make sure that they have IDs, in-state IDs that at a machine that checks IDs. Will we be expecting that to happen?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They'll have a machine that will check ID and be able to scan IDs.
Yes, rarely does anyone open a liquor store anymore without a POS system that has built into it a check for IDs.
Okay.
And then they will have it. That's answering your question.
Okay, great.
Yeah, thank you, Selectman Valencourt. He pretty much said everything that I would generally say. The only other thing is, because we're a college town, there's a lot of out-of-state IDs. They need to be aware that those are not a valid form of identification for the state of Massachusetts, and they would, if they accepted that, they are doing it at their own risk. It's not that they're not trying to be diligent, but it is not a valid form. So that's why Selectman Valencourt encouraged the use of the machine that you identified. I didn't even know it was called that, what Attorney Perlman said. So, and as a result of that, again, if the board chooses to approve this license, that fair warning, the warning is coming tonight. So
Right.
we are a college town. We take liquor license violations very seriously. And we say this to every applicant. This is not anything new. So just make sure your client is very well aware that we do take it very, very seriously. So having said that, anything else from the board on this? Anything that they would like to add?
One thing I guess I'll add, and I know that you guys, I mean, the team hasn't really started looking at the building and the property yet, but there are a lot of posters and obstructions in the windows, and I believe in North Andover that is not allowed. So they would definitely need to remove all of those obstructions from the windows in the building.
That is true. We want to be able, we don't, you know, I think it's important that that the building is not closed off with anything, frankly, that we should be able to see it. And just remind them of that. You know, again, Selectman Valancourt is right on the money with that as well.
And just so you'll know, they're hearing you. They're on.
You know, I know that. I see them.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I just know that, but I'm just assuming we're conversing through you, Attorney Perlman, that's all.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
I actually want to say that I'm also really excited to see something happen with this space because it has been a long time. So we are grateful for that. And given all of the things we have outlined, we're looking forward to having you.
Thank you.
I think we just ask, since it's been sitting for so long, if you encounter more delays, if you could just keep us posted on that. Again, it was a highly sought after liquor license and it's been sitting for a while. So we look forward to, like Chairwoman Phillips said, we're looking forward to that space being active with a new business. So welcome to North Andover.
Thank you.
And we will look forward to it.
Thank you.
And Madam Chair, I don't see any public comments in the folder, but Laurie is saying that there may have been an email. So I'm just checking quickly to see if we did have an emailed public comments.
Okay, thank
We
you.
may have missed. No problem. Or if you find it first, let me know.
So there's two emails from the current owner.
Okay,
Do you want me to read them?
go right ahead.
Okay. The build out is done. Final plumbing inspection was done today. Plan on electrical Monday, final inspection next week. And then fridges are installed, 15 door cooler is already installed, heating system in place, ADA bathroom in place also. And the last one is all signs will be based on code.
Thank you, Laurie.
Welcome.
Well, he's on target. By the 31st, it's supposed to be signed off on by the town.
So that would be the fire alarm from the fire department and final inspection and certificate of occupancy from the building department.
Right.
No recommendations from police or health.
And there is no other public comment.
There is another public comment?
There is no other public comment.
Oh, no other, okay. All right, anything else from the board? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to close out of the public hearing.
So moved?
I'll second.
And that's you, Janice? Okay,
Yeah.
so we have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Richard
Just
Valancourt,
a roll
aye.
call vote.
Richard
Yep.
Valancourt, aye.
Laura Bates, yes.
Janice Phillips, yes.
And Rosemary Smedili, aye. So we are now out of public comment, and I would entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I'll move that the select board acting as licensing commissioners approve the application from Araya Liquors doing business as Main Street Liquors for transfer of all alcohol off-premise liquor license.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Motion made by Laura, second made by Janice. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Richard Valencourt, yes.
Laura Bates, yes.
Janice Phillips, yes.
And Rosemary Smedili, aye. Unanimous vote. Congratulations. And as some of my colleagues have just said, we look forward to you being in town and hope for you a great success. And just keep us informed, please. It has been a long time. Just please try to keep us up to date if there are any setbacks or maybe being able to open up even sooner than what we've just discussed. So all of that would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Nice job, Attorney Perlman. You stopped me from asking you to do exactly what you just did. When you first opened up, you kind of listed everything that is important for us to hear. You don't see me on the screen. I have a laptop that just is TV shy, I guess. I have a hard time getting it to work. But again, thank you for being on your game and making it helpful to all of us in coming to a decision.
Thank you.
Okay. So next item on the agenda is request from the trustees of reservation for the Stevens Coolidge Place for our change to the entertainment license. Do we have anybody to speak to that from the Stevens Coolidge?
Yes, Colleen Hamilton, I'm present.
Okay, thank you, Colleen. If you could just outline for us what the intention of the Stevens Coolidge is for this change of licensing.
Of course, yeah. Our primary reason for requesting the change is we'd like to do 2 to 3 family movie nights in the spring and in the fall. So one in the spring and one in the fall to accommodate for sunset for those hours. So they'd likely be from 6 to 8 or 7 to 9 on Friday or Saturday, in keeping with our current licensing hours. And they'd be a combination of like family activities throughout the gardens, accompanied by a movie in our event lawn where we currently hold our summer concerts.
Okay, and you had some other points of interest that you had put on your application, like
I believe we had a car show. There's no car shows currently planned, but we have been approached about car shows in the past, so we just wanted to be prepared should an opportunity present itself.
Okay. Hold on a moment. So we have 2 letters that came in from 2 citizens.
Mhm.
And so I guess I'll turn it over to the board for questions or concerns, or both.
Yeah, so can you, go ahead, Janice, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You go first.
I was just gonna ask if you can describe, what will take place during like movie nights or during the nights where you'd have plays. What would be the format? Where would the performances and the screen be placed, and those type of particulars?
Of course, yeah, happy to expand. So the movie would be set up currently where our or over the summer where our stage was for our summer concerts. So that would be in the back left corner of our event lawn, which is a little bit closer to Chickering Road or Andover Street. And all of the sound would be pointing towards 115 Andover Street, which is our kind of maintenance duplex, as described in our entertainment license. Ideally, the movies would be a little bit shorter so that we could accommodate the timing of our entertainment license. So they'd likely be about 80 to 90-minute movies, all family focused. And then we'd have an accompanying activity to keep kids entertained as well. I know it's hard to have them sit still for 80 to 90 minutes, but it's just like a nice family evening event to get people outside, enjoying the gardens, and hopefully welcome some new community members to Stevens Coolidge.
I'm assuming you would charge for the events.
Correct, yes, these would be paid ticketed events.
Have you spoken with the neighbors? I mean, this is literally an age-old ongoing issue. I'm curious if you did the due diligence ahead of time to speak with the neighbors and get their opinion.
We didn't. These are going to be taking place of other events that we had going on. So there will actually be less events, evening events this summer than there were in years past. So we didn't envision that it would be an issue, but happy to have conversations with the neighbors and talk about it with them offline.
Well, having said that, this was my feeling. I almost feel a need, because of tonight's weather and that the town hall is not hosting this meeting tonight, that it's remote. I think that I would personally rather have you set up meetings and conversations with the neighbors and then come back. You know, a few of the things you mentioned, like there's also salsa dancing and things like that. The potential for the car shows. I just don't want, I think everyone really needs to know exactly what this, if the board chooses to vote for this, what this entertainment license could possibly entail that might not even be listed in this application. I think it's the right thing to do. That's my personal belief. Of course, the board has the final say.
I feel like we've done a lot of work to get comfortable with the license that you currently have, and it makes me feel very uneasy to extend that license and change it. And I feel like without a lot more details, I mean, even down to numbers of events, how many you had last year, how many you expect to see this year, I just don't personally feel comfortable supporting this overarching change, which could deeply impact what you can do on the premises.
I would tend to agree. I think the application is pretty open-ended and you can come back to us for individual events. We're still hearing from neighbors that they're not happy with what's happening with the noise levels. And to me, movie night and car shows are noise heavy. And I know you specified movie nights in the fall and the spring for hours, but I've been to them for the schools and they do run late. And you are essentially in a neighborhood. So I think that the application or the ask needs to be very specific to what you want.
And I agree, and thank you to Janice and Laura for expanding on what I was trying to say, that it's still pretty open-ended, and due to the weather, I think that this unfortunately wasn't a great venue for neighbors to be able to come in and speak and ask questions. So I do agree with my two colleagues on their views on this as well.
Sure. Yeah, understood. We're happy to have conversations with the neighbors and write up a detailed plan of exactly what those specific programs and events look like, so that paints a better picture for you all.
That would be really helpful. I understand. I mean, we love what you do there, but it is a neighborhood, and I feel like it's gotten to the point where the sheer volume, it gets to be challenging for the people who live around there. So I think with further discussion, there's room for us to work this out. But
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it was Janice that said it, that even just limiting the number of events, I mean, if we just need to hear what's going on and then see if we can come to an agreement that would make everybody happy, or as Janice just said, is to leave the license the way it is for the time being.
Sure. Yep, absolutely understood. And thank you all for your feedback. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Any more comments or questions from the board?
So what are we going to do with this request? And then we're going to take no action?
That's what I was about to say, that we, I would say that wait till we hear back. It's up to the board, of course, that wait to hear back from the neighbors if there was some sort of an agreement that everybody would seem happy with that we could then work on, or they might just say, no, we are not ready to expand the license and ask that we consider that they don't. So I guess it would be no action till further notice when all parties get together. Does that make sense?
Should I just
So-
ask a quick question? Is it possible for them to come for a 1-day entertainment license for a specific event?
Yeah,
Beyond their entertainment license?
I believe so. Melissa, do you agree with that?
I don't know that there's any mechanism for a 1-day entertainment license in our policies. We have a 1-day liquor license. But Laurie and I can certainly look at that with Chris and see if there's any mechanism to allow for such a limited.
I think we actually do have one.
Hey, there we go. You think we have a 1-day entertainment?
I think, didn't the church get one?
Yes, they did for the dancing, the music and dancing.
Okay.
For the party.
I don't
Yep.
think that, I think it was something that needed to be reviewed as part of the policies, and I think at one point it might have been added.
Okay. We'll take
But
a
we
look
could
at that.
double check.
Colleen, I can get in touch with you and we can come up with a plan.
Sure, that sounds good. Thank you,
Okay.
Melissa.
I'll give you a call
So-
tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you for that. So for tonight, do we want to continue it or take no action? I think we need to, my opinion, we need to continue it, I would think, because we want to, we just can't leave it laying out there without any, date certain when we would take it up again. That's my opinion. I don't know if Melissa or Dee or Laurie, you have, different guidance on that.
Colleen, how long do you need to touch base with the neighbors?
I would say probably about a week would be a good time frame for us to be able to set up a time to chat with them, if that works for you all.
So if
Our
we
next
continue
meeting
it
is
to the
February
next
6th.
meeting then, which would
Our next meeting
be
is February
February
6th.
6th.
Yes.
February 6th. Okay.
Okay, Madam Chair, I'll motion that we continue this license application until February 6th and take no action tonight.
I'll second.
Second was Laura.
Yes.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Richard Valencourt, aye.
Laura Bates, yes.
Janice Phillips, yes.
And Rosemary Smedili, aye. That's a unanimous vote. And I will now entertain a motion to move out of licensing. I think that wraps it up.
I'll move that we move out of licensing.
Motion.
I'll
We have a
second. I'll second.
Okay, Laura seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Richard Valencourt, aye.
Laura Bates, yes.
Janice Phillips, yes.
Rosemary Smedili, aye. And that's a unanimous vote. We are now out of licensing. Madam Chair, back to you.
Thank you. We're going to head into new business. Our first item is a public hearing of Massachusetts Electric, DBA National Grid, and Verizon New England joint petition to install poles, wires, and fixtures along and across Salem Street. I will take a motion to enter the public hearing.
Madam Chair, I'll motion we enter the public hearing for Massachusetts Electric, doing business as National Grid, and Verizon New England joint petition to install poles, wires, and fixtures along and across Salem Street.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Aye.
All those in favor?
Richard Valencourt, yes.
Laura Bates, yes.
This is Rosemary Smedili. I lost you for a little bit on my phone, so I just want to know what I'm voting on. It just makes it so much better that way.
Just to, it sure does. Just to open the public hearing about
Okay.
the poles and wires.
Okay, that would be a yes for me.
And Janice Phillips, yes. Okay, I think we have someone here to speak to this.
Yes, I do. Yes, you do. My name's
Hi.
Hi, Dave Boucher, National Grid, 1101 Turnpike Street, right here in North Andover, senior designer. A few weeks ago in December, I believe it was early December, we had a house move to 170 Salem Street, which is set back between 166 and 180 Salem Street. The house is there and it's waiting for electricity. And in order to provide electricity, what we're proposing tonight is a new pole location as shown on the diagram we've provided. Pole number 1389-1 as shown. We would aerially cross the road coming from pole 1389 that exists across the street and meet the customer there. They're planning on bringing underground facilities, all the utilities underground up to that pole. It would enable us to go forward. I know they're kind of anxious because the house has been there for a while. The timing wasn't exactly right, but we're finally here at the meeting and we're trying to get that pole in the ground, at least the permission from the town tonight, so that we can place the pole in the ground as soon as possible for them. And if you see fit, it would enable us to go forward with placing the pole as shown with the diagram we've provided.
Where does the electricity come from for the two houses on either side of that new driveway?
There are overhead drops to
To
those
the,
homes.
okay.
I just happen to know that. Why?
I was just curious why you needed a new pole.
The house that's in the back, the
Yeah.
new home, 170, and it's in the diagram.
Yeah.
It's quite far from the road. You can't, we can only go about 120 feet with aerial drops from the existing lines.
Gotcha.
If we were going to go to that home overhead with overhead wires, we'd actually need to set a couple of two poles just to get close enough to do an aerial drop.
Gotcha.
They plan to come up that driveway that's a kind of a common driveway there underground all the way. It's probably about 250 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite a distance.
And the abutters were the houses on either side were notified of the new pole location. Right.
Yeah, you would have your town clerk would have sent out the notices to them,
Yes.
not us. Yep.
Yeah, it's in the package. Well, there is the notifications that went out.
I noticed. Oh, thank you. I missed that.
I don't have any further questions.
Any other, comments, questions? I'm glad they'll get some electricity. Okay, if there's no other comments, I'll take a motion to move out of the public hearing.
So moved, Madam Chair.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Richard Valencourt, yes.
Laura Bates, yes.
Rosemary Smedili, aye.
And Janice Phillips, yes. We are out of the public hearing. And now we'll move to a vote. I will take a motion to vote on the Massachusetts Electric DBA National Grid and Verizon New England joint petition to install poles, wires, and fixtures along and across Salem Street.
I would move approval.
I'll
I have a
second that.
motion. I
I'll
have a
second
motion
that.
and a second. Any further comments? Okay, all those in favor, roll call vote, please.
Richard Valencourt, yes.
Laura Bates, yes.
Rosemary Smedili, aye.
And Janice Phillips, yes. Okay, we're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to move on to item C, which is a request of the North Andover Youth Baseball to use Water Street, Main Street, Waverly Road, and Dana Street for the opening day parade on April 29th, 2023, from 8:15 a.m. until 10 a.m. This is always an exciting time of year because it means spring is on the horizon. So, any comments, questions? Is anybody on to speak to this? I doubt
Other
it,
than
right?
it's a really fun day for kids and parents, and as you said, it's a great sign of spring So, and play ball.
Just looking forward to it. Always a good day.
I know you'll be there, Laura, with your avid baseball players. So, okay. I will take a motion.
Madam Chair, move approval.
And I'll second that.
We have a motion in a second. Roll call vote, please.
Richard Valencourt, aye.
Laura Bates, yes.
Rosemary Smedili, aye.
And Janice Phillips, yes. We are going to move on to item D, a letter of support for the Massachusetts Historical Commission grant application for stabilization of the Stevens Estate Carriage House. I'm going to ask Town Manager Rodriguez to explain this.
Sure. So, Madam Chair, as you know, both Assistant Town Manager Burzlaff and I have been working with Fireside to basically inventory what needs to be done at the Stevens Estate and at the accessory dwellings and units that are up there. We actually have a pretty much finalized, I would say, report. And we're working with them now on a 5-year plan. But one of the things that has come to light is that there is some structural issues at the carriage house that we really do not want to let go in the long term. And so Laurie, in doing her due diligence, found this amazing grant that we want to apply for, and that she went to a class on last week, and we really felt like was a good fit for that building. So what we were asking for is a letter of support for that grant.
Madam Chair, I would move approval on the letter of support for that grant. I think it's a terrific idea. It's a very cool property. I'll let you in on a little secret if you haven't been there, that on the right day, having been a carriage house, it still smells a little bit like a carriage house, which is kind of a fun thing. But, no, it's a really interesting building and it should be protected. So I would move approval for that.
Thank you.
I didn't
We
state at
had
the
our
beginning of this
junior
that I
class
need
party.
to.
We had our junior class party in that little house, in that carriage house.
That's interesting, Dick, because they had asked me what had it been used for previously, and all I could remember was going to like a craft fair there.
Right, we're talking about the long one, right?
The long one.
Yeah, we had our junior class party in there. They wouldn't let us in the main house.
Oh, dear.
The gatehouse is actually almost fully renovated, and there will be a caretaker moving into it within the next few months.
That's fantastic.
It is fantastic. Yeah,
So
it is
long
fantastic. Yeah. So, and it's really going to help us with our insurance, which, as you know, we pay. So we're really excited and eager to get that project done.
Well,
So
it's
they-
not just that. No matter how well you winterize and protect a building that's empty, it does begin to show signs of wear and tear, which really would be unfortunate because we spent a lot of money getting that building in better shape than has been. So that is great news. That is,
We're
Will
thrilled.
they-
On
Will
site
we
to
be able
proud.
to see, will we have photos or something to see the gatehouse?
Yeah,
before
they'll do it. They'll do like they'll let Cam come in and do a tour. So
great.
yeah,
that'd
they're just happy because they'll have someone on site 24 hours, so to mitigate anything that could happen in the estate. And I think it's going to make a big difference for all of us. So we're all really excited to see that moving forward.
it's very exciting.
Yeah.
be- Can I just ask, what will the $100,000 cover? Like, what are we asking them for the money? Is it to actually do the repair work?
It's all structural, correct, Laurie? It's all
Yeah,
structural.
the estimate from the assessment was 196,000.
We'd match it.
Wow, that's great.
I actually need to recuse myself from voting on this item, but I'm going to go ahead and did Rosemary make a motion? Did I? Okay, so I have a motion. I'll take a second.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second, and I'll take a roll call vote.
Richard Valencourt, yes.
Laura Bates, yes.
Rosemary Smedili, aye.
Okay, we have 3 in favor, and I am not voting on this item. Perfect. Okay, Item E, sorry, I lost my place, is to vote to open the warrant for the May 16th, 2023 town meeting and close it at 4:30 PM on March 13th, 2023. We all know that this is Town Manager Rodriguez's favorite time of year, so
We're finishing the budget tomorrow. We're opening the warrant today. This is very exciting. So
awesome.
woohoo. We're ready.
There's a note that all articles will need to be timestamped by the town clerk's office as being received by 4:30 PM on March 13th. I just want to clarify that for anybody waiting at home to submit their article.
Yes, and if you're seeking to submit a citizen petition, we do encourage you to have conversations with the town and town council prior to getting your signatures.
Perfect. Any other questions, comments? Okay. I will take a motion.
I'll move that the select board open the warrant for the May 16th, 2023 annual town meeting and close the warrant at 4:30 PM on March 13th, 2023.
I'll second
Yeah.
that.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Richard Valencourt, yes.
Laura Bates, yes.
Vice Smedili, aye.
And Janice Phillips, yes. The warrant is open. Thank you. Moving on to item F, we're going to open a discussion regarding the site plan review special permit for the middle school. And I know that I can turn this over to you, Ms. Town Manager, and we will get fully up to date.
Sure. So this is just the beginning of what's going to be, I think, a lot of discussions. But as we're opening the door and getting ready for Facilities Master Plan 2, we are starting to think about how we're going to permit and how we're going to plan for those. And we're also thinking about how we mitigate our risk moving forward. So, we've talked a lot about the Recplex and how we chose to permit that project and the fact that it was appealed and we are still where we are almost 4 years later. And so we want to set forth a process for permitting all of these projects as we move along. And so I've asked town council to get us an opinion on the best way to permit municipal projects, what projects are exempt, what process some other communities use. And her, Jean, and I are going to get together to come up with a process that we can use for all of the buildings that limits the risk for the town, but also allows for public input and for all the projects to be fully vetted. And so we're working on that now. It may require some changes at town meeting. It may require some obvious conversation amongst this board and the planning board and the ZBA. But I think it's an important conversation for us to have because we do want to mitigate these risks as we move through. We want to see these projects actually built and not have to be all waited on. So I just wanted to update you all on that. So as we get the opinion and we start chatting, I'll send you all a copy of it and we'll start working on it moving forward. But we just wanted to give you a heads up that that's the direction that we're going in right now, just getting that clarity.
And I just want to clarify, this pertains only to municipal buildings. And we're looking for a process that gets us through that process.
Yes, things we own.
smoothly.
Yes.
Yes,
Things
only
we
things we
own.
own.
Figuring out how to streamline them. Right now, the town pays an engineer or an architect to create our documents for us. And then we pay to peer review our own documents, which seems a little bit like a silly use of taxpayer funds. So how do we streamline those processes so that everybody feels like we're crossing the T's and dotting the I's and are protected, but we're making sure that we're being as diligent and maintaining our fiduciary responsibility. And so there is a way to do that, right? Lots of other communities do it in a way that is fair and equitable and makes everybody feel heard. And we need to kind of figure out what that path looks like.
We'll look forward to continuing the conversation and seeing where that leads. So, some comments from my colleagues.
I think it makes nothing but sense. It's
Mhm.
it's just good policy.
I agree with that.
I appreciate you guys having the forethought to start the process.
Keep you posted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we can move on to item G, which is a vote to surplus the police department vehicle. So
Very exciting as well. This makes me and Laurie municipal nerdiness go like off the charts. But just so you know, since we have started to bid our cars out. We just had a Charger that we sold that we were going to get, I think, $500 in trade, and it actually sold for $12,600 on auction. So
Awesome.
it's amazing, and we're very excited about it. And as you remember, last year we created a revolving account. So all of the money that we are getting from selling these vehicles is going back to purchase new vehicles rather than just going back to the general fund. So everybody's happy. And no one's more happy than me and Laurie because we're like, woohoo, it's working. But this is a 2006 Acura that we're selling.
This is just a really great example of good management and thinking outside the box. And it's just wonderful. Thank you.
We're psyched.
So what was the 2006 Acura used for? Just curious.
I don't know. We recently also sold, was it a Nissan Nova? Was it a Nova we sold? What was that other one we just sold?
Yeah, I forget what Nissan was. I think
Nova?
they were used for undercover.
Detectives cars.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. And a lot of the time they're like seized vehicles, and then we keep
Right.
them to use for
Oh.
undercover, and then we sell them now.
I'll tell you,
But-
boy, we get the mileage on that one.
Yeah. But even that Nissan sold for a lot more than we thought we were going to get
Than
for
you
our
would've.
trade.
Then you would have gotten for a trade.
Yeah.
Very good.
We were shocked. So I've never
But-
signed more titles. It's very exciting. So
But I wonder if the fact that there were that used cars were, well, no, I guess the opposite. They were very much in demand because there weren't many maybe that got us a better price. So
I'm sure that's true.
all of it is good.
It's all good. I'll take a
unless you buy
motion.
used car. Of your own, not one of these. I didn't make it clear.
I'll take a
Um,
motion.
I'll move that the select board approve the request of Police Chief Charles Gray to surplus vehicle number 336, a 2006 Acura.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Richard Valencourt, yes.
Laura Bates, yes.
Rosemary Smedili, aye.
And Janice Phillips, yes. I can't wait to hear about more cars along the way. Moving on to item H, we have several appointments tonight. I actually will turn it to Laura or Dick to fill us in on these candidates, and we'll take it from there.
Sure. So we have 4 candidates that we're bringing forward tonight. Stuart Pesco, who is a longtime resident of North Andover, who is interested in being on the Commission on Ability Assistance, and we're very happy to make that nomination. This Commission on Ability Assistance has been lacking membership, so this brings them up an additional member, and I believe we have another person who's expressed interest that we'll be interviewing in the near future. But Stuart, like I said, I've known him for quite a long time. He's a very good person, and I think he'll be doing an excellent job on that commission. And then we have, we'll take Jacqueline and Dorothy together. They also are a couple longtime North Andover residents and are interested in being part of the Patriotic Observance Committee. And I think, they'll kind of go in there as a team. They're very close friends, and I think they'll work well together and work well with the rest of the committee. So we're bringing those 2 forward. And then Greg Moschetto is a fairly new resident to the town. He's a retired gentleman who moved here recently from Vermont to be closer to his grandchildren. And in Vermont, he served on their equivalent to the Sustainability Committee and was very involved in Vermont in renewables. So he is keen on being on the Sustainability Committee. So we, joyfully bring all 4 of those forward. And Laura, if you have anything to add, please do so.
No, I don't. I thank you, Dick, for going through all of them. I just wanted to say, again, we're still trying to fill some spots on ability assistance. So if anybody out there is interested, please submit your application. But yeah, I don't know, it was great to interview all these people. I think that they'll do great on each of those committees.
And as usual, we're so fortunate and grateful to everyone who's willing to serve on all of these volunteer committees. So
We run on volunteers, right?
can't say it enough. Head to that website and apply. It's great. So
Can I-
we'll take.
Oh, so
Take-
go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I was gonna say
I
we'll
was
take-
just gonna say, can I do them all together as long as I say the term ending date?
Yes, please do.
I will move that we appoint Stuart Pesco to the Commission on Ability Assistance for a term ending June 30th, 2025. To appoint Jacqueline McGuire to the Patriotic Observance Committee for a term ending June 30th, 2023. To appoint Greg Moschetto to the Sustainability Committee with a term ending June 30th, 2024. And Dorothy Courier to the Patriotic Observance Committee with a term ending June 30th, 2025.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Richard Valencourt, yes.
Laura Bates, yes.
Rosemary Smedili, aye.
And Janice Phillips, yes. I thank them in advance for their service. We are heading on to item I, which is to vote to appoint a sufficient number of police details for elections. I feel like we've gone through this a couple of times, but I'm going to let town manager explain it.
Yeah,
before we.
so if you remember correctly, last year, the law changed and it used to be that the police were in charge of the police details, and the law made the select board in charge of the police details for all elections. And so we are just asking you to authorize the police chief to put a number of police details that he deems adequate at the election.
Okay,
I would move approval for that.
great. I have a motion
I'll second that motion.
and a second. Can I get a roll call vote?
Richard Valencourt, aye.
Laura Bates, yes.
Rosemary Smedili, aye.
And Janice Phillips, yes. Great. We will move on to the consent items. We need to accept some donations to the youth center. A $22,900 donation from the North Andover Soccer Association, a $9,580 donation from the North Andover Booster Club, a $5,320 donation from the North Andover Little League, and a $3,000 donation from the North Andover Youth Lacrosse. And this is all going to be donated to the youth center.
I would move approval, and my goodness gracious, that's what, about $40,000?
Mhm.
Is it to the youth center or to the fields?
Usually used for the fields, right?
Yeah.
This is, from my recollection, when I was the treasurer of the Booster Club, we used to make this, this donation every year. And it was used for the Fields Committee to do upgrade and maintenance on the fields.
Thank you.
By way of the youth center.
By way of
That's
the
the-
center, right?
Okay.
That's for fields. So, okay, I have a motion,
I'll second.
a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Richard Valencourt, yes.
Laura Bates, yes.
Rosemary Smedili, aye.
And Janice Phillips, yes. That's great. Our next item is the approval of the minutes from the open session of January 9th, 2023. That was sent out to everybody. Did you have a chance to review it? And any questions or comments? Okay, I'll take a motion if there are no comments.
I'll move that the select board approve the open session minutes of January 9th, 2023 as presented.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call vote?
Richard Valencourt, yes.
Laura Bates, yes. Sorry.
Rosemary Smedili, aye.
And Janice Phillips, yes. Our minutes are approved. Nothing under old business. Town manager, do you have anything to add tonight?
I just have one thing, and it's really for employees and retirees. So the Group Insurance Commission is having listening sessions. The last one is tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Recordings of them are available on YouTube. It is especially important this year because there is plan changes. Some of our insurance plans are going away. And if you do not change your plan during open enrollment, and you are affected by that, they will just put you where they think you should be, and you will not be able to move for an entire year. And it could be detrimental to municipal employees due to the way our percentages are. So I'm just encouraging our employees and our retirees to pay particular attention this year during open enrollment. And right now, while information is going out, and I sent this out in my Friday 5, as you know, I send a Friday 5 to the employees. I sent this out this week as my Friday 1. One only thing I need you to do is just pay attention to this, because I really don't want anyone to be caught surprised on July 1st. So I know it's a little early before open enrollment, but the listening sessions are happening now. And you all know I'm on the GIC commission. I'm happy to answer questions or help people get information. Retirees especially, please call, and we're happy to help you. But I just want people to know that.
And the
And
open
we will
enrollment
make
period
sure-
isn't until April, right? Is that,
Yes.
okay, so
And we
get
will
the
make
word out.
sure that HR does a really good job of getting information out to both the actives and the retirees this year.
Absolutely.
So I'm sorry, you said open enrollment is in April?
In April.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. Open enrollment's in April, but the listening sessions are happening right now. And the last one is tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
Okay. Thank you for that. We can move on to select board updates. Who has something to talk to us about? I will give a shout out to DPW. It's been a rough few days, I would say. And from what I can tell, they've done a great job. This winter's been kind of weird. So I hope that this is the end of it, honestly, but we'll see. I know they'll take care of us no matter what. The skier in the group doesn't want this to be the end of winter.
I have nothing tonight.
Okay.
I'm all set.
Okay, great. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Have a motion in a second. We need a roll call vote.
Richard Valencourt, yes?
Laura Bates, yes.
Vice Bedelia, aye.
And Janice Phillips, yes. We're adjourned. Thank you.